Hey, I'm Bob at ILikeToMakeStuff. Today, I'm going to help you never lose these again. I don't know if you know this about me, but I actually really like tech. And anytime something new tech-related comes out that I like, I tend to pick it up. One of the new things is Apple AirTags. Now, if Apple's not your thing, Samsung makes something similar, Tile makes something similar, other companies do, and you could use any of them for the same function, and that is finding stuff. This is a little tag that you can put onto something, and then if you lose that something, you can find it using your phone. So in this case, I actually bought some of these to put on my wife's keys, because she loses them all the time, and I got some extra ones to put on things in the shop, because like all of you, there are certain things in my shop that I constantly lose. Tape measures and remotes. So one of the things I want to do today is figure out a good way to put this on this in a safe way so it doesn't get damaged or lost, but I want to see if I can make it useful in finding a tape measure in this big, messy shop. And then for me, I actually have an Amazon Fire TV here in my shop, but you may have something similar to this in your living room. And often these will fall down in between the couch cushions and you can't find them for a while. So I also want to try to figure out how to put one of these discreetly or comfortably on the back of a remote. So we've got two things we want to try to accomplish and a bunch of different ways we could do it. So let's first jump into the tape measure. This is the tape measure that I actually use the most, but I just now noticed that it's actually broken, so this one unfortunately is going to have to go in the trash. This is also one that I like. It's got a plastic housing, and the cool thing about it is that it has a little more kind of space to work with in regard to sticking this AirTag on. Now you can use anything to attach an AirTag to anything. So I know hot glue would work just fine. Magnets would work just fine. But I want this to be on here discreetly, and I want it to be on there and be protected. So the first thing we're gonna do is make one for the tape measure out of leather, and we wanna make sure that it can wrap around this securely, stay in place, but the full function can be there. All these different things, the clip, the pull out, the button, all that stuff will still work even with this in place. Could have tucked it in from the side instead of the top or the bottom. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna recut. Do a little sleeve so it's open down here, and you can slide it in on the inside, which means we need to make a little pocket that can go right there to hold it. If it's not obvious, I am an absolute novice leather worker, but working with leather is actually really easy and doesn't require many tools. You can see that I'm also trying to figure this out as I go. So my plan here is to make essentially like a watch band and then a little pocket. And this is going to be glued and sewn on right there so that you can slip the AirTag down inside of it, and then you can wrap this around something so that it's protected on the inside. The idea is that you'll be completely hiding it on the inside of this thing and it won't slip out because this end will be wrapped around. So this stuff is a contact cement. This is barge, but you can use a bunch of different kinds. Basically, you put it on two different surfaces, let it dry, and then when you stick them to each other, they bond. And it's an extremely strong bond. In fact, you probably wouldn't need to sew anything after this, especially in this case, because it's going to be captive inside something. But usually, this is a great way to get two pieces of leather, or actually two pieces of anything, to stick to each other, and then you go back and reinforce it with a seam. I think I'll actually take the clip off and put this under it and then put the screw back in just to hold it on there. That way you still have a functional clip, but it will hold this on the other side of it. But first, this needs to get treated on the edges. So obviously that adds some bulk to something like this. You could make it look a little bit nicer by adding, a design here or change the shape of this outer piece. I just kind of did that off the cuff to see if it would work, and it will totally work, and it will stay in place, which is pretty cool. The AirTag won't fall out, which I think is the big thing. You wouldn't want to make something where it could accidentally slip out and then separate from the thing you're trying to find. So that is one option if you want to do some leather working. So yesterday, Josh and I had a conversation. He was working on a 3D model of this remote and had modeled up a really cool end piece to go here that would hold the AirTag, and it would fit right there. And we were trying to figure out how to attach it to the remote itself. Basically, long and short of it is I think we can do it without 3D printing, although that is absolutely an option. I think instead we're going to take a piece of wood and cut it and shape it to match kind of the profile that sticks out here, and then we're going to put this on the inside of that piece of wood and adhere the entire thing to the battery cover using some veneers. So the first thing is to cut a piece of this walnut down to where it fits kind of like the remote and then shape it to match as closely as you can. It's not going to be perfect. Then we'll have to cut a slot on the inside of that so that the AirTag can slide in from the front. Then we're going to take this really thin veneer. This is walnut veneer with an adhesive back, and we're going to wrap it around the backside of this piece and the backside of this cover to kind of tie them together. This is going to be a lot of manual shaping, and I think I'm actually going to use a Dremel. Even though I have a Bridgeport, I should use the mill to actually make a little slot for this perfectly, but I understand a lot of people don't have that. And I think it may actually be a little bit easier to get a precise fit with the Dremel, just drilling down and making a slot that this thing will fit into. So I'm going to do that, and then once I get that slot for it to fit down into, then I can start shaping the outside to make sure that I have enough material left over to actually hide the AirTag on the inside of it. This video is sponsored by Keeps. Did you know that 2 out of 3 guys experience some sort of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35?
Yeah, that math checks out.
You guys got this?
Yeah, we got it.
All right.
You've seen me and I like to make stuff videos, and most of the time I'm wearing a hat, and that's because I'm self-conscious of my thinning hair. So we were really excited when Keeps reached out so we could try their hair regrowth treatment.
So for a long time I've been pretty skeptical about these hair treatment programs, but we did our own research and it seems super legit.
It was super easy to even get started. You log into your computer and you use your webcam to take pictures of your head, and then that information is then sent on to a doctor.
And that doctor will review those results and determine the proper treatment plan for you.
And then it Keeps mails your treatment plan to you in a discreet package so that you can get started.
Keeps says that on average a user will start to see results within about 4 to 6 months. We're pretty cool with that because we believe this is a long-term investment in ourselves.
So if you're like us and are ready to take action to prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/ILTMS or click the link down in the description and you can get 50% off your first order. Now they want me to spell this out. That's KEEPS.com/ILTMS. Now we got to get back to work. Go check them out for yourself.
I've got this thing shaped down to actually a lot closer to the actual shape than I expected it would be, and I'm realizing now that this actually to do really well would take several different attempts, because I'm realizing that getting these pieces to match up perfectly is going to be difficult, but also getting the veneer to carry across the pieces, terminate in different places cleanly, is just going to take some trying. And so I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot with this one. We'll see how it turns out, but it may require another one if you want it to look really, really nice. All right, so I think I'm definitely gonna have to put some glue of some sort in this edge and then clamp these on, and then possibly also heat it just to get the veneer to actually shape a little bit more. But before we get to that, I have to make a way for you to be able to put the tag in here and get it out so that you can change the battery in this thing. So I think, even though I am gonna be damaging the actual remote, I think I'm gonna cut this end cap out because it doesn't really need to be there anymore. Then this piece will fit right there, so you can slide this whole thing off, pull the tag out, and then change the battery, slide it in, and then slide the whole battery cover back on. All right, to glue these on, I'm not really sure the best thing to use. I'm gonna use E6000, and that's because it is a very strong adhesive that will go between just about any materials. It's also a little bit flexible, so I think it'll help once these get connected, get glued on. I think it should hold it and give it a little bit of room to stretch, hopefully not too much. I don't know, we'll give it a shot. But this is E6000 that's black. You can get it in clear and probably other colors, but the black is really handy for things like this because it can hide the seam. Now we just need to take this thing, sand all these edges, try to blend them as well as we can, and then put some oil on it so it looks like a finished piece. And this thing should be done. We got this thing all finished except for one little detail. Josh modeled up the button layout, and we cut out another piece of the veneer on the laser so that it will fit right on top of it just to make it look super nice. So I'm gonna get this put on here, and then Josh is gonna hide both this and my tape measure in the shop to see if we can find them. All right, we're gonna use this app and see if we can find it easily. Oh, that was cool. It's over there. It's gonna be up there then. Did you put it inside the saw? Is it in the dust collection pipe? It's like the sound is echoing around. It sounds like it's right here.
That's trippy because I know where it is and it doesn't sound like it is where it is.
It says here. Unless I did the wrong one.
Make the sound again. You're looking for this one. Looking for the wrong one.
Yeah, it's this way. That means there's one over there somewhere. I can hear it. Whoa, look at that scary bug. I don't know. Oh, here it is. One. Be over here. Is it in? It's inside the bandsaw? Of course, that's where I left it. I forgot that I put it there. So Josh hid that inside the bandsaw to point out that the AirTag itself is hidden, enclosed in wood, in a metal box. It was still able to find it. We could still hear the sound coming from it, so that's pretty awesome. So here are just a couple of the ways that you could use AirTags to keep track of the stuff that you lose in your shop, and you could attach these to anything, and you could attach it in a million different ways. You could use glue or tape or Velcro or magnets. There's a bunch of different ways that you could take advantage of these to make it useful in your shop. Or if you're like me and you let people borrow tools on occasion, maybe you make some sort of a little elastic band holding one that you could stick around a tool. That way, in case you forget who you gave the tool to, you can always find it later on. If this project gave you some ideas for how you could use AirTags in your shop or even out of your shop, I would love to hear about them because we can share some ideas. So let me know down in the comments. We've got tons of other types of projects that you may want to check out, and if you're not subscribed, be sure to do that as well. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
It's not a drummer ball.
Wow, that was bigger than I thought it was gonna be. Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. In a metal box, and it was still able to find it. We were still able. You lose your keys all your time. Maybe you lose your keys all your time.